Want to welcome you to the podcast. My name is Ryan Mayer. I'm a certified ADHD coach, master facilitator, and corporate neuroinclusion consultant. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, thank you so much for stopping by. I promise that this is going to provide value for you. The opening question is a pretty direct one. Have you subscribed yet? Are you following the podcast? All new subscribers in the next 30 days are going to be entered for a chance to win either an ADHD goal setting guide or a free coaching call with me. What if this could be the year that changes everything for you? Let's make it happen together. Because my next question might be a little bit painful, but that's why you're here. Coaching isn't always easy, but it is helpful. But that's why you're here, because coaching isn't always what you want to hear, but it's what you know you need to hear. So here's the question. Did you hit your goals this year? Or maybe even a better question would be, did you set any goals this year? And if you did, do you even remember what they were? If you don't, it's okay. Totally judgment-free zone. This is a safe space. And just know you are not the only one that feels that way. I feel that way too. If you didn't set your goals, there's probably a reason that has to do with ADHD behind that, because you have failed so many times in the past that you don't want to feel that way again. So it's easier to just not plan the goals. Let's talk about the only 9% of Americans that do keep their New Year's resolutions. How do they do that? And how can you start doing it? It leads me to another question that you may have not thought about or heard in a long time. What do you want to be when you grow up? No, for real. And it doesn't, grow up doesn't mean when you get older. What does your ideal self, your ideal life look like? Before we really dive in, I want to make sure to give a shout out to our sponsors over at ADHDonline.com. Just like me, the team at ADHD Online is committed to helping you find the answers that you're seeking and encouraging you to live your best life with ADHD. Be sure to check them out, and then at checkout, use discount code CoachRyan50. I have it right above my head right now, CoachRyan50 for $50 off your assessment. Tip number 1, reflecting on results. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm begging him to change his ways, right? We want to change so bad. We look at ourselves and think, why aren't you doing the stuff you know you need to do? You can't plan for the future without understanding the past and what led you here. Here's why taking a moment to reflect on the past year is so incredibly important. Because if you don't, history tends to repeat itself. One of the biggest lessons that I learned in 2024 actually has to do with the podcast, because I was so hung up on trying to make it perfect that I delayed doing this for many years. And then when I did start to do it, I didn't want to pay the money to put it on a good platform. And as a result, there was 3 or 4 episodes leading up to episode 14 where we had to scrap the entire thing because there was some technical glitch. So I learned that investing in the right resources is totally worth it. This is where I want you to take a minute to pause and reflect, and I'll even give you a call to action. Comment below, for real. Comment below on the video if you're watching this on YouTube, and write down, what is one thing you're really proud of accomplishing over the past 12 months? Speaking of reviewing results, I'm so excited to say that Robo Ryan from our friends over at Summit AI Coaching is killing it, helping so many people. The team at Summit has just unveiled a new feature for year in review. So it can help you to see all the things that you've already accomplished by working with the AI version of my coaching, which we refer to as Robo Ryan. Don't worry if you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, I signed up for the free trial, but I didn't actually update that many things. That's okay, because with the year in review, you're able to manually enter a lot of the things you may have accomplished or fallen short on, and then it can help you to build a plan, which leads over to its other new feature, which is a planning tool. So taking all the things we're going to be talking about in this episode and putting them into action. So if you have no idea where to start, or if you just want to make sure you can capture these ideas for what you could do to make 2025 a great year, all you have to do is check out the link in the show notes to figure out how Robo Ryan, powered by our friends over at Summit AI, can help you to achieve all of these dreams. Tip number 2, specific is terrific. Goals are not just wishes, they're plans with a purpose. Let's just be totally honest. If your life isn't where you want it to be right now, that means that something or someone, that's you, needs to change. And how can we hit our goals if we haven't picked any yet? That would be like me trying to visit my friend Joe Melendrez out in Los Angeles and just saying, all right, I guess I'm going over to his house, and just driving west and hoping for the best. Here's the reason why goals are so much better, because resolutions are plagued by the vague. Specific goals bring specific results. In this example, a vague resolution would be, I'm going to be healthier or I'm going to work out more. Whereas the specific goal, because remember, specific is terrific, that's tip 2, is I am going to go to the gym for at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. Goals give you a clear path forward, help you to stay motivated because you know what you're trying to accomplish. And then it'll help you obviously stay on track then towards your goal. What categories of your life do you want to work on? Well, let's just think about some of the different categories: relationships, finances, work, health, faith, gratitude. And if you're not sure where to start or what to aim for, that's fine. Here's one that's probably a lot easier. Start with what you don't want. Wait, what? No, seriously. Start with what you don't want. What are all the things that you are very frustrated with? Write those, and then in a column next to it, just write the thing you do want instead. So what this is going to do, starting to pick these out and getting more clarity, is going to help us to bridge that gap that we've probably had so many times in our lives of intention and result, and bridges the gap between vision and action. So we got to build that momentum, because ultimately the biggest canyon that you're trying to cover is taking things from your dreams into reality. And my good friend, Coach Mike Dickey, shared this quote with me. It's from mathematician Carl Pearson, and it says, "That which is measured improves. That which is measured and reported improves exponentially." We're going to get to that in a minute. To help hold yourself accountable, you have to surround yourself with people who are going to help you to review your results, because when it gets measured and shared, that's when you're going to see your results exponentially grow. I am fortunate and so grateful to be surrounded by an amazing inner circle and support system here at Ryan Mayer Coaching, with my team and my wife, Andrea, and my family and all my close friends, that they're pushing me and encouraging me to get to my goals. So let's start putting this into action right now. So if you're listening and you're able to do this safely, so some of my friends who might be listening in the car, this may not apply to you, but comment below with what is one of your goals for this year, because the more you share it, the more likely you are to follow through on it. And if you need some additional accountability, this is a great opportunity for you to join the Ryan Mayer Coaching digital community. You can look down in the show notes to get the link to the Ryan Mayer Coaching community. We have hundreds of people from all around the world. Share your goals with them. We can encourage you to get to the finish line. One of the most important things that I learned during my coach training is we are human beings. We are not human doings. So setting goals is great, but I want you to really think about, what kind of person do you want to be in the upcoming year? How do you want to show up every day in life? And then you go from how do you want to be, then what would you do to be like that? And then you can think about, what will that bring you as? You may have heard the phrase, act as if. You are that kind of person already. And lean into that, really step into the role. I've also heard the idea of, imagine you're being followed around by a film crew and they're doing a documentary on how you became so incredibly successful. It really changes the way that you might act when no one's watching. Let me give you a quick personal example that I'm guessing a lot of you out there who might be neurodivergent like me can probably relate to. If I were an incredibly engaged and fully present husband and father, I would ... have a hard stop time. Not a hard time stopping. I want to make sure you heard that one. Have a hard stop, a hard end time on my workday in order to prioritize my most important roles as husband and father. If I were an incredibly engaged, fully present husband and father, I would not have my phone with me during designated family time, so that my family knew that they were much more important to me than anything I can see on a screen. For you, when it comes to goals, maybe one of yours in the upcoming year is to finally find the answer to that nagging question: do you have ADHD? Do I have ADHD? If you're not sure, but you're still wondering, go check out ADHDonline.com. They have one of the very best asynchronous assessments that you can do online and get answers in a week. And then when you're there, you can enter discount code CoachRyan50 for $50 off your assessment. That's my gift to you. Tip number 3, habits are helpers. Your habits are a helper. They're not a hindrance. I'm sure you already know about the power of small, consistent habits. If you've ever read the book Atomic Habits, we have a link to it, by the way, down in the show notes. I wrote a blog about it. James Clear, fellow Ohioan, by the way, just an amazing book. Check it out. Along with that book and other resources that I've checked out, have really helped me to see the power of habit. It almost becomes like muscle memory. For those of you out there who have ADHD or are entrepreneurs, there's always going to be lots of things to do. But when you start building habits, routines, and then it becomes a ritual where this is just how you are and this is what you do, it really becomes the essence of your personality. And the way to start these, which might seem sort of esoteric, is you figure out your why. What is your why? What's the fuel that drives you? For me, the mission is to help other ADHDers who are feeling that darkness, that hopelessness, to let you know you're not alone, to be a beacon of light, to let you know that there is possibilities on the other side, because trust me, I feel you. I know your pain. So the point of me having to record all these and do all these videos and make all this content is to help lift all of you up, to help you come together. So what inspires you? What gets you all fired up? What could you always wake up excited to do? And then ask yourself the question, why? Why is that important? And keep breaking it down further till you distill it to the absolute essence. So for me, it all comes down to love. I felt a lack of love in the workplace where I wasn't feeling supported. I wasn't feeling like I could be myself. And I want you to know you are loved, you are valuable, and that is my fuel. You are my fuel. Here's one thing that's really important to keep in mind. ADHDers, we are not marathoners. So it's so easy for us to set a resolution or a goal for the year and then not have any plan to get it. If you only take one thing away from today's episode, it's this: break down your goals into sprints. So you're not a marathoner, you're a sprinter. You need to have the urgency to finish the smaller pieces to get to the finish line. Here's a question I have for you, and I would love for you to answer it in the comments below, or even to pause the video and journal it down. What is one habit that you could start this year that would be a small thing that can make a huge difference in your life? Here's an example for you. If you want to start being more mindful, that sounds super overwhelming. But while you are waiting in line at the grocery store, when someone cuts you off in traffic, while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, when you're standing at the refrigerator wondering what brought you there, take 3 deep breaths. Tip number 4, the hidden resources that are all around you. The right tools can make all the difference. So here are some of the Ryan recommends. Llama Life. I use it every single day at the beginning of my day, end of my day, helps me to do my habit stack. I call it my startup stack and my shutdown stack. Check out the link below. It's incredible. And honestly, just scheduling time to get together with other people to do body doubling. You can join our community. We have free productivity sprints every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you have something where you know you need to do it, you want to do it, but you can't get yourself to start, experience the magic of body doubling by joining the community. The thing I'm going to work on this year is scheduling. I'm going to schedule time to work on my goals, because the things that get scheduled get done. And giving yourself that time to pause and reflect, it's so incredibly powerful. Special shout out to my friend and fellow coach, Mike Dickey. He's going to be putting on a goal setting seminar. It's virtual, the first Thursday and Friday of the first week of every December from now till a long time from now. So if you want to sign up, let me know. I can get you the link. Power of the pause. It's painfully simple, but it is simple and powerful. Speaking of simple, you're only a couple clicks away from getting confirmation of your ADHD diagnosis by going to ADHD.com. Let them know that Coach Ryan sent you by entering Coach Ryan50 at checkout. You're welcome in advance. In closing, I just want to tell you, this year is yours for the taking. It's ours for the taking. So let's get out there and get after this thing. So let's summarize the key takeaways real quick. Reflect. What didn't work and what do you want to change? What went well and what do you want to keep doing? Set intentional goals, build habits, and use those tools that I recommended just a few minutes ago. This combination of things is going to bring you to the finish line. Change doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to be perfect. A client of mine once told me, take massive, imperfect action. It's not going to be perfect, but you got to do something. Movement is mandatory. Tip number 5, the results runway, good, better, best. So think about this as a runway. Give yourself a safe space to land. So maybe if you don't hit the bullseye, you're going to hit a different part of the target where you still get points. Whatever goal you're setting, write down what's a good, better, and best outcome. It's been a game changer for me. I always talk about it here on the More Than ADHD podcast that sharing is caring. So please help us to spread awareness about ADHD and neuroinclusion. Share this with one person that you think would benefit from hearing it. Until next time, know that you are resourceful, you are creative, you are whole, and you are more than your ADHD. ADHD is a part of you, but it doesn't define you. And if you haven't heard it today, I want to remind you that I love you. We'll talk to you next time.